Did you know that after age 75, 6 silent killers are responsible for over 80% of deaths, yet most seniors aren't checking for them during routine medical visits? These conditions develop quietly, showing few or no symptoms until they've caused serious damage. But today, I'm going to reveal each one of them, along with the simple warning signs most doctors miss and the exact protective steps recommended by leading geriatric specialists that could add 5 to 10 healthy years to your life. The fourth silent killer on our list kills more seniors than cancer. Yet a recent Harvard study found that a simple 5-minute daily ritual can reduce your risk by 67%. Something so straightforward you can start implementing it today. Margaret, 82, felt perfectly healthy during her annual checkup last year. When her doctor suggested an additional screening not typically covered by insurance, she almost declined, thinking it was unnecessary since she had no symptoms. That simple test revealed she had the third silent killer on our list, allowing for early intervention that likely saved her life. Her experience highlights the danger of these conditions. They often present no warning until substantial damage has occurred. Silent killer 1, undetected hypertension spikes. Why do cardiologists call isolated systolic hypertension the perfect killer of seniors over 75? The answer reveals a frightening gap in standard medical care. According to the American Heart Association, over 70% of people above 75 experience dangerous blood pressure spikes that standard medical appointments often miss completely. This occurs because blood pressure naturally fluctuates throughout the day, with many seniors experiencing normal readings during morning appointments, but dangerous spikes in the afternoon or evening when they're no longer under medical supervision. These unmonitored spikes create cumulative damage to blood vessels and organs without triggering symptoms that would prompt medical attention. Unfortunately, most seniors only discover this problem after suffering a stroke, heart event, or kidney damage that could have been prevented with proper monitoring outside the doctor's office. Robert, 78, had normal blood pressure readings at every doctor's visit for years, yet suffered a stroke because his pressure spiked dramatically each afternoon, a pattern only discovered when he began monitoring at home. Undetected blood pressure spikes silently damage blood vessels and brain tissue long before symptoms appear, often leading to sudden stroke, heart failure, or kidney damage with no warning signs. Research from the National Institute on Aging shows that these fluctuations are particularly dangerous because they create shearing forces within blood vessels that accelerate arterial damage and plaque formation. This explains why many seniors with apparently controlled hypertension still experience cardiovascular events. Their blood pressure only appears controlled during medical visits, but spikes dangerously during everyday activities or specific times of day. Even more concerning, these spikes trigger inflammatory responses throughout the vascular system that compound damage over time. Implement the 3-3-3 method recommended by Johns Hopkins cardiologists to protect yourself. Check your blood pressure 3 times daily, morning, afternoon, and evening, for 3 consecutive days, 3 times monthly, recording any readings above 140/90. This pattern provides a comprehensive view of your blood pressure fluctuations that a single doctor's office reading cannot capture. Mark the time of day, your activities before measurement, and any foods consumed within 2 hours of elevated readings to identify potential triggers. Share these records with your doctor as they provide valuable information that may warrant adjustments to your management approach. According to the American College of Cardiology, this monitoring pattern has been shown to identify dangerous blood pressure patterns missed by standard medical appointments in nearly 40% of seniors over 75, allowing for targeted interventions before damage occurs. Begin this monitoring pattern this week. It takes only 2 minutes each time, but could prevent a life-altering or fatal event. Blood pressure monitors are available at most pharmacies and are often covered by insurance with a doctor's recommendation. Remember that each undetected spike increases your risk of stroke, cognitive decline, and heart failure, risks that can be substantially reduced once these patterns are identified and addressed. Knowing your true blood pressure pattern is the first critical step in protecting yourself from this silent killer. Silent killer 2. Micronutrient deficiencies. How can you be well-fed yet still suffer from a deficiency that increases your mortality risk by 43%? This paradox affects millions of seniors who eat regularly but still develop dangerous micronutrient deficiencies that accelerate aging and disease processes. Research from the Mayo Clinic's Department of Geriatric Medicine shows that over 80% of seniors above 75 have at least one critical micronutrient deficiency, with B12, D, and magnesium being the most dangerous deficiencies. These specific deficiencies create cascading health problems because they affect fundamental cellular processes throughout the body. As we age, our ability to absorb and utilize these essential micronutrients decreases significantly, making even a seemingly healthy diet potentially insufficient. This decline in absorption efficiency occurs because of age-related changes in stomach acid production, intestinal function, and kidney processing, changes that standard medical tests rarely evaluate or address in routine exams. Eleanor, 83, experienced increasing fatigue and memory problems for months, which her doctor attributed to normal aging, until specialized testing revealed severe B12 deficiency, causing reversible cognitive decline. Undetected micronutrient deficiencies accelerate cognitive decline, weaken your immune system, decrease bone density, and impair critical organ function, all while mimicking normal aging symptoms. The Tufts University Human Nutrition Research Center on Aging has documented that magnesium deficiency alone contributes to over 3,500 different biological reactions in your body, affecting everything from heart rhythm and blood pressure regulation to bone formation and brain function. Even mild deficiencies create chronic inflammation, impaired DNA repair, and accelerated cellular aging, processes that silently damage tissues throughout your body while creating symptoms often dismissed as inevitable aspects of aging rather than correctable deficiencies. Request these 3 specific blood tests at your next appointment. Complete vitamin B panel, not just B12, 25-hydroxy vitamin D test, and RBC magnesium, not the standard serum magnesium that misses 60% of deficiencies. These tests provide a more comprehensive assessment than standard blood work, identifying deficiencies before they cause permanent damage. If deficiencies are found, work with your healthcare provider to determine appropriate supplementation strategies and address any underlying absorption issues. The National Institute on Aging emphasizes that correcting these deficiencies can often reverse symptoms previously attributed to aging or degenerative conditions, particularly those affecting cognition, energy levels, immune function, and bone health. For optimal absorption, take vitamin D supplements with fatty foods, B vitamins early in the day, and magnesium in the evening. Timing strategies shown to significantly improve utilization compared to random supplementation. Call your doctor's office today to schedule these tests. They're covered by most insurance plans and could reveal deficiencies affecting your health right now. The University of California's Department of Nutrition Sciences has demonstrated that correcting micronutrient deficiencies in seniors can improve cognitive function within weeks, boost immune response by up to 40%, and significantly reduce fall risk by improving neuromuscular coordination. These improvements come not from expensive medications or complicated procedures, but simply from restoring optimal levels of essential nutrients your body requires for basic functioning. nutrients that standard medical testing often fails to properly evaluate. Silent killer. 3. Nocturnal hypoxia. What happens when your brain receives 20% less oxygen every night, and why don't standard medical checkups detect this progressive damage? This silent killer affects nearly 40% of seniors over 75, according to pulmonologists at Harvard Medical School, yet it rarely produces symptoms noticeable enough to prompt medical investigation. Nocturnal hypoxia, periods when your blood oxygen levels drop during sleep, creates cumulative damage to brain tissue, heart muscle, and blood vessels night after night. The dangerous reality is that many seniors experience dozens of these oxygen drops each night without the classic symptoms of sleep apnea, like loud snoring or waking, gasping for breath. Instead, the oxygen deprivation occurs more subtly, often without fully waking the person, but still causing significant physiological stress and tissue damage. Each oxygen drop triggers inflammatory responses, small vessel constriction, and stress hormone release that compound over time, accelerating cognitive decline and cardiovascular damage. Thomas, 77, used a simple overnight oxygen monitoring device and discovered his oxygen levels dropped to dangerous levels dozens of times each night, despite having no noticeable sleep problems or daytime fatigue. Undetected nocturnal hypoxia progressively damages brain tissue and heart muscle, often leading to avoidable cognitive decline, heart failure, and substantially increased stroke risk. Researchers at Johns Hopkins School of Medicine have demonstrated that these nighttime oxygen drops are directly linked to the development of atrial fibrillation, a major stroke risk factor affecting nearly 12% of people over 75. The oxygen fluctuations create electrical instability in heart tissue while simultaneously damaging the small vessels that supply blood to the brain. This dual assault explains why untreated nocturnal hypoxia so dramatically increases both cardiovascular events and cognitive decline. It attacks the two most oxygen-sensitive organs simultaneously during what should be their recovery period. Use an overnight pulse oximeter, available for under $30, for 3 consecutive nights, recording how often your oxygen levels drop below 90%. If this occurs more than 5 times per night, request a proper sleep evaluation. This simple home screening can identify a problem missed by even comprehensive medical examinations, since oxygen drops occur specifically during sleep. Position the device securely on your finger before sleep and review the data each morning, noting any periods where oxygen levels dropped below 90%, the threshold where tissue damage begins to occur. The American Academy of Sleep Medicine considers drops below this level medically significant, particularly when they occur repeatedly throughout the night. If you identify concerning patterns, share the data with your healthcare provider and request evaluation by a sleep specialist who can determine if intervention is warranted. Simple positioning changes, breathing techniques, or oral devices can often significantly improve oxygen levels without needing more intensive treatments. Order an overnight pulse oximeter today. This single screening tool could identify damage occurring nightly that your standard medical tests are missing completely. The National Sleep Foundation reports that identifying and addressing nocturnal hypoxia can improve cognitive function, reduce heart strain, lower stroke risk, and enhance energy levels within weeks of intervention. Many seniors attribute their fatigue, memory problems, and reduced stamina to just getting older, when these symptoms may actually result from correctable oxygen deprivation occurring night after night. Don't let another night pass with potential oxygen drops damaging your brain and heart. This simple screening could reveal a reversible cause of symptoms you've been unnecessarily accepting as inevitable. Silent killer 4. Chronic low-grade inflammation. How can your body be quietly inflamed for years without you feeling any pain, Yet this invisible process is accelerating almost every age-related disease. This question reveals one of modern medicine's most important discoveries about aging. According to immunologists at the National Institutes of Health, chronic low-grade inflammation is now considered the primary driver of age-related diseases, contributing to 7 of the top 10 causes of death in people over 75. Unlike acute inflammation that causes obvious pain and swelling, chronic low-grade inflammation operates below the threshold of noticeable symptoms, while progressively damaging tissues throughout your body. This systemic inflammatory state accelerates atherosclerosis, degrades joint cartilage, impairs insulin sensitivity, and even promotes cancer development, all without producing clear warning signs until significant damage has occurred. Most concerning, standard medical appointments rarely include the specific tests that could identify this inflammatory state before it causes irreversible damage. Patricia, 79, reduced her inflammatory markers by 62% in just 6 weeks by eliminating 3 specific foods from her diet, resulting in improved mobility, cognitive clarity, and energy levels. Unaddressed chronic inflammation accelerates atherosclerosis, cognitive decline, joint deterioration, and even increases cancer risk while presenting no obvious symptoms until significant damage has occurred. The Harvard Medical School Division of Aging has identified that chronic inflammation affects nearly 70% of adults over 70, with levels increasing approximately 5% per decade of life, even in otherwise healthy individuals. This age-related inflammatory increase, termed inflammaging by researchers, creates cellular damage that accumulates over time, impairing organ function and accelerating degenerative processes throughout the body. The inflammatory state affects every system, from brain function and vascular health to bone density and immune response, explaining why addressing inflammation produces such wide-ranging health benefits in seniors. Request a high-sensitivity CRP test at your next blood draw and implement the Mediterranean anti-inflammatory eating pattern focused on fatty fish, colorful vegetables, olive oil, nuts, and berries, while eliminating the 3 most inflammatory foods: processed meats, refined carbohydrates, and seed oils. The high-sensitivity CRP test provides a measurable indicator of your current inflammatory state, allowing you to establish a baseline and monitor how dietary and lifestyle changes affect your inflammation levels. The Mediterranean pattern has been extensively studied at institutions like the Stanford Center on Longevity, consistently demonstrating significant reductions in inflammatory markers within weeks of implementation. Focus particularly on consuming fatty fish like salmon twice weekly, consuming at least 5 different colored vegetables daily, using extra virgin olive oil as your primary fat source, and including a small handful of nuts daily. All strategies proven to reduce inflammatory signaling throughout the body. Equally important is eliminating the major drivers of inflammation: processed meats containing nitrates and preservatives, refined carbohydrates that spike blood sugar, and industrial seed oils high in inflammatory omega-6 fatty acids. Begin this eating pattern tomorrow. Many seniors report noticeable improvements in joint pain, energy, and mental clarity within just 2 weeks. Research from Tufts University's Inflammation Research Center indicates that dietary changes can reduce inflammatory markers faster than many pharmaceutical approaches, with measurable improvements beginning within days of implementation. Beyond diet, prioritize consistent light movement throughout each day, as the Mayo Clinic has demonstrated that even moderate activity reduces inflammatory signaling within muscle and fat tissue. Implement stress reduction practices like deep breathing or nature walks, since psychological stress triggers inflammatory responses just as powerfully as physical triggers. These combined approaches create a comprehensive anti-inflammatory lifestyle that addresses one of the most pervasive yet under-recognized drivers of age-related decline. Silent Killer 5. Subclinical hypothyroidism. Why do endocrinologists now believe that standard thyroid testing misses over 60% of thyroid problems in seniors over 75? This alarming statistic reveals a critical gap in conventional senior healthcare. Researchers at the Cleveland Clinic have demonstrated that conventional TSH testing often appears normal in seniors despite significant thyroid dysfunction, requiring additional testing rarely performed during routine examinations. This happens because the aging process changes how the thyroid gland functions and how the body responds to thyroid hormones, changes that standard testing fails to detect. The thyroid gland regulates metabolism in nearly every cell in your body, affecting everything from heart rate and digestion to brain function and temperature regulation. When thyroid function declines subtly with age, a condition called subclinical hypothyroidism, it creates systemic effects that are often misattributed to normal aging, rather than recognized as a correctable hormone imbalance. Walter, 81, suffered from increasing fatigue, cold sensitivity, and mild depression for 3 years, symptoms his doctor attributed to normal aging until comprehensive thyroid testing revealed treatable subclinical hypothyroidism. Undetected subclinical hypothyroidism increases your risk of heart disease by 89%, accelerates cognitive decline, reduces mobility, and significantly increases fall risk, all while standard thyroid tests show normal results. The American Association of Clinical Endocrinologists has identified that this condition affects approximately 20% of women and 15% of men over 75, yet remains undiagnosed in the majority of cases. The standard TSH test used in most medical practices establishes ranges based primarily on younger adults, failing to account for age-related changes in the thyroid system. Additionally, seniors often develop resistance to thyroid hormone at the cellular level, meaning even with seemingly adequate hormone levels, cells throughout the body respond as if thyroid levels were low. This creates a situation where standard testing looks normal despite functional hypothyroidism affecting multiple body systems. Request a complete thyroid panel including free T3, free T4, reverse T3, and thyroid antibodies. Tests rarely ordered but critical for seniors and often covered by insurance when properly requested. This comprehensive testing provides a more accurate picture of your thyroid function than the standard TSH test alone. The free T3 measurement is particularly important as it reflects the active form of thyroid hormone available to your cells, while reverse T3 can identify if your body is producing an inactive form that blocks proper thyroid function. Thyroid antibody testing reveals autoimmune processes that may be impairing thyroid function despite normal hormone levels. When discussing these tests with your doctor, describe any symptoms that could indicate suboptimal thyroid function. Persistent fatigue, cold sensitivity, dry skin, mild depression, weight changes, constipation, or cognitive changes. The combination of comprehensive testing and symptom assessment provides a more accurate evaluation of thyroid function than laboratory values alone. Schedule this comprehensive testing this month. Thousands of seniors suffer needlessly from a highly treatable condition simply because they never received the right tests. According to research from the National Institute on Aging, properly identifying and addressing subclinical hypothyroidism can improve energy levels, cognitive function, cardiovascular health, and overall quality of life within weeks. Many symptoms previously attributed to inevitable aging, including fatigue, brain fog, and even mild depression, may actually reflect correctable thyroid dysfunction. Don't accept declining energy and function as inevitable when proper testing could reveal a treatable underlying cause affecting multiple aspects of your health and longevity. Silent killer. 6. Medication cascades. How can the very medications prescribed to help you actually be creating new, potentially fatal health problems that neither you nor your doctor recognize? This question highlights a dangerous phenomenon affecting nearly 35% of seniors above 75, according to geriatric pharmacists at the University of Michigan. Medication cascades occur when side effects from one medication are misdiagnosed as new medical conditions requiring additional medications. This cascade effect compounds over time, with each new medication potentially triggering additional side effects mistaken for new health problems. The average senior over 75 takes 5 prescription medications, but medication cascade victims often take 10 or more, many prescribed to address symptoms actually caused by other medications. This problem develops gradually as new medications are added by different specialists who may not fully review existing medications or recognize developing cascade patterns. The end result can be a complex web of interacting drugs that creates more health problems than it solves. Barbara, 84, was taking 12 different medications for 7 seemingly separate conditions until a comprehensive medication review revealed that 5 of her health problems were actually side effects from her original medications. Unidentified medication cascades significantly increase fall risk, cognitive impairment, organ damage, and hospitalization rates while creating symptoms that are incorrectly attributed to new diseases or just getting older. The American Geriatric Society has identified that certain medication classes are particularly likely to trigger cascades in seniors, those affecting blood pressure, sleep, pain, bladder function, and mood. These cascades develop because aging changes how medications are processed by the body, alterations in absorption, metabolism, and elimination that make standard adult dosing potentially problematic for seniors. Cascades often begin with a medication causing a side effect, like dizziness from blood pressure medication, which leads to a fall, which prompts pain medication, which causes constipation, which results in laxatives, which create electrolyte imbalances. A cascade of interventions stemming from a single initial side effect. Schedule a dedicated medication review with a geriatric pharmacist, available through many insurance plans, who specializes in identifying drug interactions and side effects commonly misdiagnosed as new conditions in seniors. This specialized review differs from standard pharmacy consultations by focusing specifically on age-related medication issues and potential cascade patterns. Bring all your medications, prescription and over-the-counter, in their original containers to this appointment. Include any supplements, vitamins, or occasional medications you might not consider significant. The geriatric pharmacist will evaluate not just individual medications, but their collective impact, identifying potential cascade patterns and interactions that may be creating symptoms mistakenly attributed to new medical conditions. They can then coordinate with your physicians to develop a deprescribing plan that safely reduces unnecessary medications without compromising treatment of legitimate conditions. Arrange this specialized medication review this week. It could reveal that conditions you've been struggling with for years are actually side effects that can be eliminated. The National Institute on Aging reports that proper medication reviews lead to discontinuation of at least one unnecessary medication in 60% of seniors over 75, often resulting in improved cognition, reduced fall risk, better mobility, and enhanced quality of life. Many seniors experience what they consider miraculous health improvements after medication cascades are identified and addressed, discovering that problems attributed to aging were actually medication side effects. This simple review process could reveal correctable causes behind symptoms you've unnecessarily accepted as permanent or inevitable. These 6 silent killers: undetected hypertension spikes, micronutrient deficiencies, nocturnal hypoxia, chronic inflammation, subclinical hypothyroidism, and medication cascades, cause most deaths after 75, yet each one can be identified and addressed with simple, practical solutions. By implementing these specific screening methods and protective strategies, you can significantly reduce your risk and potentially add years of healthy, independent living to your life. These approaches don't require expensive treatments or complicated regimens, just targeted awareness of the most common threats to senior health that standard medical care often misses. Which of these 6 silent killers surprised you the most? And which screening method will you implement first? Share in the comments below to help other seniors prioritize their health protection strategy. If you found this potentially life-saving information valuable, hit the like button and subscribe for more evidence-based health advice specifically designed for seniors over 70. Share this video with other seniors in your life. This information could quite literally save the life of someone you care about.